What's up, you guys? It's time for another episode of What's Hot and What's Not in Children's Ministry. Hey, you guys, when it comes to COVID-19, there's no question that it has brought with it some challenges and that it has impacted children's ministries across the globe. And for some of us, it is still impacting our children's ministry departments. But what if instead of focusing so much on the challenges, we focused on the opportunities? What if instead of grieving and trying to preserve what is lost, we celebrate this new opportunity to hit the reset button and to breathe fresh new life into our children's ministries? Because when it comes to children's ministry, reinventing yourself to connect with a new era and a new generation is hot. But sticking to the same old stale methods that really just aren't working anymore is not. So, today, we are going to talk about some things that as children's ministry leaders, we need to be doing differently. So stick around and find out. Hey, you guys, the truth is everything has changed and we are living in a completely different day and age. And as much as we may want things to go back to normal, which is basically code for do things the old way and still stay effective, it's not going to happen. We are living in a postmodern society, which means that the church is losing its influence. Numbers are declining. Millennials and young people are leaving Christianity in droves, claiming no religious affiliation, saying that Christianity is no longer relevant for what they need today. Listen, as children's ministry leaders, we have got to be paying attention to these trends. Ignoring them is not going to make them go away. If it is truly our goal to reach the next generation for Him, then there are some things that we need to be doing differently. So, what are those things? Number one, get serious about digital ministry. Listen, you guys, it is vital that children's ministry leaders become digitally proficient. And if they're not, find someone who is, or preferably build up a team of people who can go online and effectively disciple children and families. I am telling you, everything is going digital. I'm not saying we're going to get rid of the in-person experience. I know it's important, but that online experience is going to be just as important. Ignorance moving forward is no longer an excuse. Children's ministry departments, they need to be investing just as much heart and passion and energy into their online experience as they do in their in-person experience. I am telling you that it matters, and I know that I talk about this all the time because it is so important, because real children and real families are behind those screens and they are in need of a real savior. So what does this mean? This means that we're going to have to do our homework, right? This means that we're going to have to research social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're going to get on to minister and disciple people. We are going to have to learn how to effectively minister on these different platforms. It is going to require that we do work, that we learn things like algorithms so that people are truly reached. All of this stuff is going to matter moving forward. So get serious about digital ministry today. Number two, change the way you reach the community. You know, so often in children's ministry, our model of outreach, right, is throwing a large event and waiting for the community to come to us. But I am telling you, moving forward, we are going to have to go out and get them. With numbers declining, the church can no longer just sit and enjoy the luxury of their social club status. No, we are going to have to go out. We can no longer sit and wait for children and families to walk through our doors. We are going to have to activate the original Great Commission. Listen, Jesus said, go out therefore, not come ye herefore. We have got to switch this model around. What does this mean for children's ministry leaders? It means that you're going to have to do your homework and understand the demographics of the children and families of the communities that you serve. Why is this important? You need to know the needs that they have and how to meet those needs so that you can ultimately introduce a more spiritual need that they have. It is time for children's ministry leaders to get out of the pews, to get out of their children's ministry boxes and go be the hands and feet of Christ. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get your team together and I want you to look at your event calendar and I want you to really prayerfully consider what's something that you can completely take out and replace with a community event where you are actually going out instead of waiting for them to come to you. I want you to really consider this. I want you to invite God's presence into this time. I want you to ask God, what is it that we can do to truly go out and be the hands and feet of Christ? You know, like I said, you're going to have to do your homework to figure out what the needs are. What are the needs in your community? How can we fill these needs so that we can introduce a greater spiritual need? Yes, yes, we've talked about that. But I'm telling you, moving forward, changing the way you reach the community is going to be of utmost importance in the way you do children's ministry. All right, you guys, this leads us to last but not least, number 3, focusing on quality over quantity. What do I mean when I say this? Now, during the pandemic, of course, so many of us were devastated as we witnessed our churches closing down. But what happened when things began to open up again? We began to going back and doing things the same way we've always done them, right? We were excited. We got out those calendars and we began to fill up our calendars with events that we were hindered from having for over a year. And then we were so excited. But I am telling you, moving forward, children's ministry leaders are going to have to focus on choosing to do a few things well. Okay, we are going to have to focus on not so much overloading our calendar, but really leaning into those things that matter most. You know, we are living in a completely different day and age. The truth is, some of those things that you did before are just not relevant to this postmodern culture that we are trying to reach for Christ, and that's okay. You know, we have talked about how important it is to incorporate digital ministry and to disciple children and families online, right? For this newer generation, these digital natives that are not walking in the four walls of our spaces. All right, we have talked about what we can do dealing with the decline on really reaching families. What did we say? We said we're going to go out and we're going to bring them in. Listen, I do not want you to take these new things and plop them onto an already jam-packed schedule. If you do that, you are not going to do those things well. It is so important moving forward that you pick a few things, all right? Get together with your team. Talk about what really matters most. What are the things that we really need to do? What are the things that are just completely irrelevant to this generation that we are trying to reach? Moving forward, learn how to focus on quality, all right, over quantity so that you can master doing things well. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to step back for a moment and to really think, what are the things that we really need to be doing well, but we're not doing well? What can you take off of your calendar to ensure that you are doing things well? Maybe it's training your team. That is so important. What's on your calendar that if you pull back, if you delegate it, if you outsource it to someone else, and it will create space and room for you to do this really important thing. I am telling you that it matters and that your children's ministry, the health, the thriving energy and life in your children's ministry will thank you later as you learn how to master a few things well. Hey, you guys, listen, I know that this pandemic has wreaked havoc on so many of our children's ministries. But children's ministry leaders must rise up and seize this moment for the amazing opportunity that it is to leverage digital technology, to actively go out and reach our communities like never before, to remove all of the clutter and learn how to do those things that matter most and to do those things well. It is time to hit the reset button. Hey, you guys, that's it for this week's episode of What's Hot and What's Not in Children's Ministry. We will see you next week, same time, same place.